Hello and welcome to my top 10 upcoming games of 2022. So, in order of release date, starting with Weird West, releasing the 11th of January, this game, developed by a new studio founded by some of the creators of Dishonored and Prey, is an immersive sim that puts you into a dark fantasy Wild West, where you play as different characters with intertwined destinies. In terms of the gameplay, the game seems to be a mix between a top-down shooter and a hack and slash, with RPG mechanics allowing you to tackle different situations in your own way, between going stealth or going all in, destroying barrels and exploding everything. With this mix of dark fantasy, which shows that, for example, one player can turn into a werewolf and, well, become more of a hack and slash game in that way. And in terms of the story, it seems to make you follow all of these characters in order, which makes you slowly unveil the common history that they have, and where everything will end up being revealed by the end chapter, where probably all of these characters end up meeting. It seems to have a focus on hard consequences, meaning that different things and different actions that you might take with some characters might be reflected in the stories of the other characters and most likely in the ending. This game seems to be a very original concept, and since the game is releasing so soon, we don't have much longer to wait. The next game, releasing in spring 2022, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, is, like its name indicates, a LEGO Star Wars game focused on the whole Skywalker saga, starting from the prequels to the new trilogy, probably featuring some missions out of the spin-offs as well. This new LEGO Star Wars game has me interested for multiple reasons. First of all, these games tend to be lighthearted and fun to play. Second, since the game will feature all of the Star Wars movies, it means that we'll have a ton of characters to play and a ton of locations to explore. And at last, since the last trilogy has, at the very least, a very messy story, having this extra comical layer, a humoristic layer that the LEGO game have, might actually make the movies more fun. And I'm actually quite looking forward to that. The next game, releasing in summer 2022, My Time at Sandrock, is a sequel to My Time at Portia, a game with very positive reviews on Steam. This game is a RPG life simulation open world game in the veins of Stardew Valley, but in a 3D world. And well, these new installments allow us to explore a new area, new characters, a new town, and probably new mechanics. And well, if you enjoyed the first one, there's high chances that you'll enjoy the second one. Although I did not finish the first one, I did enjoy my time with it. And as a fan of these type of games, any improvements to the formula will always catch my attention. Now for the last game with a set release date, StarField, releasing the 11th of the 11th, is the new IP by Bethesda Game Studios that promises the next generation RPG set among the stars, where you create any character you want and explore with unparalleled freedom as you embark on an epic journey to answer humanity's greatest mystery. This is probably my most anticipated game of the year, and although we don't know too much about it, it still seems to promise a lot, and we all hope it delivers. Hopefully not becoming the new Cyberpunk. From the video into the StarField, The Endless Pursuit, we can gather that the game will follow the Bethesda Game Studios formula of previous games and iterate upon with a bigger world and more interaction. We can also see that they do plan to make the game playable for decades, as well as also having mod support, which of course will greatly add to the longevity of the game and probably make it better in the long run. Now for the games with a planned release in 2022 but without a specific bracket or release date, we start with Stray, a game that makes you explore a cyberpunk city from the perspective of a cat. This game will be a mix of a platforming and puzzle solving game with some Metroidvania style mechanics where you unlock new abilities as you explore the world, enabled by some robots that help you through your journey. The next game revealed at the Game Awards, Nightingale, is a survival crafting building game set in a Victorian steampunk-ish world where, with the help of some discovered portals, allow you to explore different mystical fantasy worlds, or how they call them, realms. This game will make you explore these fantastical realms with each time the objective of repairing a portal in order to traverse to the next realm, hopefully with the objective of reaching your homeland in the end. This seems like a very interesting concept, since it really allows a lot of freedom to the developers to make very different and original realms, from high fantasy to very dark fantasy to more Lovecraftian worlds. I tend to like survival games, and I tend to be particularly interested in this Victorian steampunky style, which makes me particularly interested in this title. Also revealed at the Game Awards, the next game, Evil West, in a similar theme as Weird West, is set in a dark fantasy Wild West world. But compared to the aforementioned Weird West, this game is a third-person action game, a lot more similar to, for example, Doom, as it seems to feature similar takedowns, but this time from a third-person perspective, as well as a similar story context. Seems here as well, hell has opened its gates to the world, which, as they describe, will make you face hulking abominations, screeching monstrosities, and ancient vampires. Now, with a particular interest of mine, Kerbal Space Program 2, an obvious sequel to Kerbal Space Program, it's a revamp and complete overhaul of the first game, with the addition of new things like buildable colonies, interstellar travel, and multiplayer and modding support. Having played a decent amount of the first game, this sequel simply promises a more polished and stable experience with better visuals and the addition of interesting things like the colonies, which would allow the creation of new bases and space stations, increasing the ability to explore the universe and allowing you to create and launch spaceships from other places than Earth. Next in the list, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, developed by Ubisoft, promises an open-world action-adventure game set in the world of Pandora, where you play as a Na'vi with the quest to push back the formidable forces of the RDA, where you explore this seemingly living and reactive world inhabited by unique creatures and new characters. And although we don't know much about this game, it has the potential to be quite interesting, since the world of Pandora is a new world with interesting visuals, which is open to many possibilities. And being in the hands of Ubisoft, we can expect to have an interesting open world. And last but not least, Hogwarts Legacy promises an immersive open world action RPG set in Hogwarts and its surrounding areas, where you embark in your own adventure through the wizarding world. This game seems to aim to deliver the fantasy of living in Hogwarts and becoming a wizard in the Harry Potter universe. Now, for some additional games that didn't make it into my main list, we have Kitori Academy, an indie game which also aims to deliver the fantasy of living in a school of wizards. Now, from the resurrected company Telltale, we have a new story set in the Expanse universe where you follow the story of Kamina Drummer. And finally, although not necessarily releasing in 2022, we have The Haunted Chocolatier, the new game developed by Concerned Ape, the developer of Stardew Valley. So there you go. Those are my most anticipated game for 2022. Hoping that they all deliver. But from the looks of it, we seem to be in for a year that will clearly surpass 2021 in terms of new game releases. Anyways, thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for next week as I will release a video with my top 10 upcoming VR games of 2022. So thanks for watching and see you next time.